Oh, you are in trouble, because we are back. Now's a good time to watch anything else on TV. I'm kidding.
Kevin!
Welcome to Attack of the Show, TV's only source for all the stuff you care about. I'm Kevin Perret.
And I'm Candace Bailey. Thanks, Ben. We're coming to you live from the G4 Studios in Los Angeles.
We were in Colorado, right?
Yes.
Denver. The old cannabis cup, everybody. So thank you, Denver, for the contact hello. On the show today, the one and only Danny McBride returns to Attack of the Show. He'll be here live in studio to regale us with epic tales from his new movie, Your Highness. Let's go. Oh! The old black lung. Then Blair Butler heads to San Francisco's WonderCon to get an early peek at some of the best nerd movies on their way to theaters. She'll meet up with Cowboys and Aliens director Jon Favreau and the Green Lantern himself, Ryan Reynolds.
Woo!
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. Plus, we'll show you some of the best ways to pimp out your fancy new smartphone. Find out how to get your own personal robot butler and measure your heart rate.
I got a good app for them.
And Captain Chris Gore of the good old ship DV Doomsday is on shore leave with a new disc from Tron Legacy, and I love you, Philip Morris.
He loves you too.
I know. Kevin, my viral video sense is tingling.
I'm not gonna say it. Let's just go around the net. I was a gentleman. You said something was tingling.
I need to say something real quick. Kevin told me today that he was going to be a gentleman all day.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's
That
not
was a
really going to
terrible
happen,
idea.
but let's see if it's true.
If I make it 15 minutes into the show,
You said all day.
give me 15
All
though.
day.
Let's screw it.
What's at number 5?
At number 5 today, we actually have the best inventor ever.
When the zombie apocalypse comes, I totally want to hang out with this guy.
Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel. Today I'm going to show you one of the craziest slingshots I've ever made. It's a machete shooting slingshot. So this time you won't see me shooting in a t-shirt because that happened when the weapon misfired in the early stages of the production.
Yes! That man could read me a recipe for an omelet and it would sound crazy scary. This was a misfire. In related news, I miss my wife. As a bonus, though, as a bonus, that thing is great for keeping squirrels out of your yard. Really is.
Also, the neighbor's kids.
Probably that as well, yes. That's the ball you let go over the fence and you never see again. It's fine.
In at number 4 today, if you haven't been watching the news, there's been a bit of social unrest in the great state that brought us cheeseheads. Here's a clip from an April 2nd protest in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah, it seems that some people there are so pissed off at union-busting Governor Scott Walker that even the dead are rising up against him.
Zombie in there.
Oh, I missed him.
You missed him?
No, I was never good at that game. Were you good at spotting Waldo?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I just never got it.
You just look for Waldo.
Oh, right. Right. Thanks again, Denver.
It's
Really
all
appreciate
fun and games until they eat the majority leaders of the state Senate.
Yeah, sadly, that will not satisfy their craving for brains. I'm saying they don't got any. Empty noggins. Union busting.
They get it.
Listen, when you're Gavin McInnes, the co-founder of Vice magazine, you guys, huge. I'm a Vice fan. I enjoy their videos. When you're him, you're allowed to do things that other people can't. like peeing in public all over New York City.
Today's number 3 item is a new short film from Last Pictures and is filled with helpful, mostly illegal tips for gentlemen who need to relieve their bladder pressure on the go.
You want to distract the audience. So I always, when I'm pissing in public, am on my cell phone, freaking out at someone. Yes, I know that. Yeah, no, it's not. You think you'll be ready by Friday? You're out of your mind. Here comes a crucial move, and it is 1, 2, 3 in the pants. This is where the snow and junk will gather. You'll get slush here, okay? The slush will build up and it'll affect the suspension. See this leaf here? That leaf is an important leaf. There's thorns there that will get lost. And I've done my last sort of pumps. And now I go, Now my is still out. But I'm just sort of like, because I know no one can see my Well, that's curious. This is not a pisser. A pisser doesn't pontificate.
That is disgusting and unsanitary.
I agree. I want to see what Twitter has to say about it. You do have to wait, though, for the updates to come through.
You're peeing right now, aren't
No,
you?
I'm just waiting for the wall. I'm waiting for the Twitter wall. There it is. It's about the machete slingshot video. What?
It's disgusting.
I know. Look, the refresh time should be quicker on the wall. I'm outraged too, but I'm sure at some point they'll tweet about it. You know, riding in a car is statistically one of the most dangerous ways you can travel.
I am appalled.
I am lighter.
And seatbelts aren't going to protect you when something like this happens. That's scary.
Mr. Robertson, this is OnStar. We've received an alert. You have crapped your pants. Would you like us to send emergency khakis? No, thank you. They were jeans. The windshield needed to be replaced, and as did the upholstery in that case. So, what are you gonna do?
Nobody likes getting surprised by wood.
I always give you fair warning. A tickle to the ear or a sniff to the back.
Stop it.
I'm just saying.
You!
Still ahead. In Russia, bears marry you.
See you Earthside style in our #1 ATN.
Surprise! What?
Today's ATN featured a sharp new approach in slingshot technology. Before we get our hands on one, we need to know, what's the name of this weapon? Tweet us your responses at AOTS, #OMGROFLOL. If your response hits the bullseye, we'll feature it on Friday's show.
Do you have a second to Twitter wall? Just 1 second, if I may, because our silence says I always figured that I peed whenever I was standing behind the podium. That is true. that is the typical go-to spot. It does conceal it better. But typically, I pee sitting down playing Dungeon Raid these days. That is the way a true gentleman pees.
Gentleman, Kevin.
I am being a gentleman.
That is not a gentleman. No.
I always stand up to get the blood flowing. Once my legs fall asleep, a gentleman takes care of his body.
A gentleman does not pee on the floor in front of the Twitter wall.
The point is, get Dungeon Raid. It's so addictive. Okay. Now, love. I want to talk about love for a second. From urine to love, because really they should be one and the same. There's something magical about finding that special someone who just gets you. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about right here. I'm talking about the heart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about right here. Gets you.
Yeah.
Something magical about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Speaking of magic, the classic song from Anastasia, Once Upon a December, has never been more enchanting than it is in this clip.
I agree. Who says Russia is all vodka and fistfights, other than me? Oh, you all say it? Great. Well, here's a classy, romantic Russian wedding video. have a feeling that everyone chose fish for that reception. You know what I mean?
I just...
The dinner, because they were bears.
I just hope that everyone was able to make it out of the hall before they settled in for their 6 months of hibernation. You get it? Because they're bears.
Oh, I thought that was like a furry sex joke. I thought by hibernation you meant wild group yiffing party.
What?
And speaking of bizarre animal sex,
It's time for another episode of Jeremy's Dragon Table.
Welcome to Jeremy's Dragon Table, the most awesome show on television, where all we do is talk about how great dragons are. Tonight's topic, Dragon Con. They call it Dragon Con, but there are very few dragons there. What gives? Searclaw. Why weren't you there?
Dude, tickets to Atlanta were expensive.
You know, if you had actual dragon wings, you could fly there faster than the speed of light and actually travel back in time or something.
But, I mean...
That's right, you can't, because you're a guy in a dragon costume, Brent.
You know, Atlanta has a great zoo. They have a panda cam, and the world of reptiles is exhilarating.
I think it's time we got a female perspective, okay? From the gorgeous girl with the dragon tattoo. Emma, what do you think of Dragon Con?
I don't know. It's like this thing with all these dragons and leather and stuff, you know? You know?
How the heck could you afford a ticket?
Hey! You don't know me, dragon guy!
I hope you had a chance to visit the world of reptiles.
Okay, shut up, Carol.
Yeah,
A hot girl is
sorry.
talking.
I'm hungry!
I know, baby. We're gonna order pizza soon. And in a refreshing change of pace, you've been pretty quiet, Glenn. I thought you go to Dragon Con like every year, right?
Yes, I do.
Well, what the hell, dude? Why do you keep going back if there are no dragons?
Because Dragon Con is filled with drunk, horny nerd chicks in skin-tight cosplay outfits. I mean, I get so much desperate lady tail. I'm like a sex spider at the Temple of Lolth, and I'm tag teaming all these hot drow.
Oh, now my mom's never gonna let me go to Dragon Con.
Oh man, believe me, there are a lot of fortitude checks, you know, and usually a couple acrobatics checks as well.
Glenn, nobody wants to hear about your disgusting sexual exploits.
I disagree.
Okay, final word. Dragon Con, yay or nay?
Nay.
Oh, yay.
I'll take that as a yay. Glenn?
A big, hot, sweaty, black, shiny, latex-covered, eight-legged yay
Glenn. Gross.
with 3 furries watching.
Last weekend, Blair Butler went to WonderCon and got a sneak peek at some of the summer's hottest blockbusters.
yes, but she's not selfish. No, she's sharing that information with the rest of us.
Smell that? It's not just the aroma of thousands of rabid fans. It's also the sweet smell of con season. Yes, it's kicking off right here in San Francisco for WonderCon 2011. Obviously, I am a super nerd, so I'm here for all the comics, but I am also here to bring you the absolute latest news on some of the biggest films hitting the silver screen this year. 2 things that seemingly don't go together, cowboys and aliens.
I said, turn around and start walking.
Tell me a little bit about what you guys were showing off at WonderCon today and why it's kind of so important to engage these fans.
Well, first of all, the fans are who made me. We were here in 2008 with Iron Man, and we were being questioned whether or not there was room for an Iron Man movie at the time. We were the only film that wasn't a sequel or a reboot that year, and we showed it to these groups of people, and the word spread until we opened to general audiences all over the world, and it made my career.
How will the Cowboys fight back?
I know, isn't that the $1 million question? Because Cowboys and Aliens could theoretically be a 30-second movie. But to show in a plausible way the way they could fight back, and I think having Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford helps. We're taking the genre seriously, but the fun and excitement comes from mashing up the 2 genres.
So if vampires prayers, kidnap your niece. There's pretty much only one thing you can do. Say your prayers and call a warrior priest.
How good is that faith when it's alive?
Is it surreal seeing yourself in 3D?
Yeah, it was peculiar, actually. I mean, I didn't take much time to think about it because I'm so blown away by the experience of seeing it. It felt so huge. You know, the movie felt so epic.
Can you sort of set up the world for people who are new to this and also just tell us a tiny bit about the source?
It's inspired by the Korean manga. The script diverged from the books in the way that we talked about it with Min Woo, the creator of the manga, and it's sort of, that actually took place in the Old West. He kind of ended the books with a cliffhanger, and there was no end. And so we kind of imagined where the story could go into the future.
So from vampire hunting priests to cosmic cops, that's right, Ryan Reynolds and the cast of The Green Lantern are in the house.
Your name, Hal Jordan. The ring chose you. Take it.
All right, so now you've played Deadpool and the Green Lantern. Are there any more iconic comic book characters you want to tackle in the future?
No, not at all. You know, just being out there today and being a part of this huge enterprise called Green Lantern is enough for a lifetime, that's for sure.
Wow. I know, right?
Is there sort of anything that you'd like to say to fans who are particularly excited about this movie?
Well, they're going to be excited because I think there's a lot of material on the way now. I mean, the visual effects on this movie are so painstaking, it takes so long to get them right, that they're now getting the materials they need to get it out to the public. So I think they're going to be really excited to see all that stuff soon.
I actually heard you did a bit of comic book research into Carol Ferris.
Of course, we had to. I mean, can you imagine if we came out here and said we didn't read any of the comics? We wanted to give, you know, fresh life to it and excite the fans, but also be true to the story and the characters.
All right, we've brought you a ton of movie news from WonderCon, but don't worry, tomorrow there's even more WonderCon updates, plus the latest on Marvel anime.
Green Lantern. To check out the complete Green Lantern footage from WonderCon, go to apple.com. That's a website.
In case you hadn't heard, the Extra Normal Film Festival presented by Bing is now accepting entries.
Submit your 2-minute video by April 14th at extranormal.com/Bing.
The winning video will air on G4, which means that we'll all see it, so make sure it's good.
Please.
Still ahead, Your Highness star Danny McBride will be here live in studio.
He brought his own gruel. But first, we have the exclusive trailer for Hesher starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Natalie Portman, and Rainn Wilson. This thing is in theaters May 13th.
Here we go, first read.
Delicious Mrs. Willard's fish sticks in a rich batter. Now in fun fish shapes that the kids love. Found in the freezer section of your local grocer.
All the news you need to know.
Hey, I'm Andy Allo, and welcome back to Attack of the Show. It's Tuesday, April 5th, and here are your top stories. Details about the Falcon Heavy. The world's most powerful rocket have been revealed, and it could be mission ready by the end of next year. Yeah, SpaceX founder Elon Musk says the Falcon Heavy rocket could take crews to the International Space Station, drop payloads and astronauts on the moon, and still make its way back to Mars and back to the Earth. The Falcon's total thrust power is equal to that of 15 747s. Musk also says it's almost a third cheaper than the comparable Atlas V rocket. Translation, Mars is about to become our bitch. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K. Apparently, the new Bill and Ted movie is actually happening. In an interview with MTV, Keanu Reeves says writers are about 6 weeks away from a draft for the sequel to the beloved Bill and Ted franchise. Co-star Alex Winter confirmed he will also be returning to the time-traveling telephone booth and assured fans the script would be true to the spirit of the originals. I think I speak for all of us when I say, excellent! And finally, it turns out some members of the world's oldest profession now prefer to get paid with plastic instead of cash. Police near the Pittsburgh International Airport have been finding increasing quantities of gift cards on suspected prostitutes. Instead
of the usual pile of greenbacks, the stored value debit cards are not only easier to hide, but are also more difficult to use as evidence for the prostitution charges that they dole out. So 2 lessons from this. 1, never travel with cash, and 2, always carry plenty of gift cards. What? I'm Andy Allo, and you've just been fed.
Gift cards! Gift cards! Rich! How'd you get that?
Carry it with me everywhere. I worked hard for this one. This is a badge of
And I
honor.
hurt my knees for that.
This is, I don't know if you guys can see that at home. That is, in fact, an El Pollo Loco gift card. That's no lie. That was on me the entire time. Gotta love the EPL. Who's with me? Nobody. All right.
Apps. They aren't just the beginning to a delicious meal at Applebee's.
No, they're not. They're also what make mobile devices so magical. Applebee's.
If you're like us, you enjoy showing off your latest App Store finds. Well, here are 3 impressive hidden gems worth bragging about. Sure, helper monkeys and robot butlers are cool, but they can't compete with the magic of Siri Assistant. This app mixes incredibly precise voice recognition with a powerful search engine and a web browser. Just tap Say It and tell Siri Assistant what you're looking for. Though it may take a few seconds to process, the results are astonishing.
Lady Gaga tickets in Austin, Texas.
From concert tickets to dinner reservations, Siri usually figures out exactly what you want and goes the extra step, presenting you with a checkout page or a short list of options to choose from. Best pizza in town? No problem. Escort service in Las Vegas? It'll find that too. We had a hard time stumping Siri and had a lot of fun doing it. Siri Assistant is completely free and ready to fetch your every desire. And if the thought of escort services in Las Vegas got your heart beating a little faster, you can use your iPhone to check on that too. I know it sounds like science fiction, but there is now an instant heart rate app. It uses the iPhone's bright LED to light up your finger, and the camera lens sees the blood flow in your fingertip. With this visual information, it reads your heart rate and beeps in time with the beat, so you know it's accurate. Save your heart rate and chart it out over time. Go for a jog and monitor your cooldown, or get obsessive and annoy your friends on Twitter with status updates that include your beats per minute. Though it's a neat party trick, it's also a great way to keep tabs on your health. Download the free version, then upgrade to the full version with history and chart features for just 99 cents. After you're done showing off to the health nuts, give the gamers something to drool over with 8-bit Pocket Camera. This little app is a faithful reproduction of the much-loved Game Boy camera attachment from the 90s. That means it creates the same charmingly low-res and gritty postage stamp-sized images with the iPhone's 21st century camera. Preview your shot live and get the best picture by adjusting the brightness and contrast sliders. Then snap and save it. There are plenty of trick lenses and effects to play with, including mirror mode and montages for adding multiple subjects to one tiny image. Save that hipster bait to your photo album or upload them to Facebook or Twitter, where your jealous friends will wonder how you got your hands on a Game Boy camera. At 99 cents, 8-bit Pocket Camera is a steal. Go retro right now in the App Store. When it comes to showing off, it's hard to beat the iPhone. And with these 3 apps in your pocket, you'll always have a trick up your sleeve.
All right, you might have preconceived notions about medieval times being proper and dignified and drug-free, but that's probably because you haven't seen Your Highness yet.
I want to be king.
Yeah, we can both be king.
No, I want to be king by myself.
Well, cheer up, brother. I have something else that you can be.
What?
Best man at my wedding.
Sounds tedious and boring.
If I'm not mistaken, it is a tradition that the best man gets to lay with the bridesmaids. Plural.
Really? I've never heard of this tradition. Deal.
Oh, you're gonna be so handsome. Who's gonna be the most handsome best man?
Probably me.
Who's the prince with the most dashing mustache?
Me?
Who gives the warmest hugs?
Me, of course.
I love you, Thaddeus.
Oh, that's cool.
Joining me now, the most dashing man, Danny McBride is here.
Very nice to see you.
Always a pleasure to have you here. just saying, how did you get this movie made? I have no idea how this thing got done.
It's a very good question. I often wonder the same thing every time I screen it. It is a crazy, crazy movie. You know, David Green, the director, and myself, we went to film school together, and we've known each other for a long time, and these sort of sword and sorcery fantasy films have always been a passion of ours,
Yeah.
and no one really makes those movies anymore, and it was just something that we always kind of wanted to be able to get into and
Or
try.
mix them the way you want. Like, you want a mage to be a badass,
Yeah.
to wield his power for all the things that we would if we woke up next morning and could cast magic missiles and snare damsels.
It is literally just an opera to everything that I wanted to see in a movie when I was 12 years old.
Right.
I mean, this is the kind of movie that when I would look at the TV guide when I was little, I'd see, oh, adult content and nudity, and I would set the timer on the VCR after my parents went to bed. It's like, this is that movie.
Would you really use the family VCR to record elbows?
Yeah. It was always like
scrambled
Cinemax late at night, and we, for a while, wanted to put a scrambled cable signal just through the whole movie, just that you had to kind of like move to see the boobs.
Is that an elbow or an arrow? What is that? So you guys went to film school together. You wanted to make this movie. Did you guys all get glaucoma at the same time together?
Yes, of course we did.
When did you?
Yes, very early on. Out of the womb, I had glaucoma.
Right
It was
away.
Very weird.
I mean, it's clearly being advertised as like this stoner comedy. Obviously, there is a movie there, even if you've never taken a puff in your entire life, like myself. There is a movie here to enjoy regardless, but would you say it's a movie for stoners?
You know, we didn't really make it intentionally for stoners. I mean, it definitely has been marketed heavily that way.
And I hear it's very enjoyable that way as well.
I think it would work under
yeah.
the influence, you know. But it was really important for us at the same time to like make a film that we felt was like a legitimate fantasy film and a legitimate action film.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, there's definitely stoner references in here, but I don't think it's by any means like something that only someone, you know, versed in stoner culture would be able to get.
Right. And how versed are you in stoner culture?
Not at all. I don't
no?
speak the language at all. It's very strange.
Have you been to the screenings for this movie and seen the crowd? Because at the screening that I was at, true story, the guy in front of me was so high he couldn't figure out how to sit in his own seat.
Yeah.
I swear to God, he left about halfway through the movie, came back and was pawing at it like it was a confusing medieval device, and fell over onto his own face at the screening that I was at.
That was probably my uncle. I think that was someone related to me.
What sort of did you go back and watch all those movies from your childhood, or did you just Google a bunch of medieval stuff in terms of research for this film?
No, we watched all of them. That was honestly like the coolest thing when we set this movie up. It was like going to the video store and just getting all these films like Beastmaster, Kroll. You have to
go to a video store to get those movies. By the way,
they are not
they're
at
not
the
on
DVD
Netflix,
store,
and they're only on Betamax.
It's an old VHS store, on Beta. That's it, and Laserdisc. That's the only way we're able to find them.
You've probably re-recorded adult porn on half of those VHSs and returned them. But the research just in the Minotaur penises alone, which, no spoiler, there's quite a bit of Minotaur penis in there.
Yeah, well, we take this job very seriously, and there were a lot of very serious creative discussions about how the Minotaur should be hung. You know,
this is a great bit. This is on Funny or Die where you are going at it. Your vision for the Minotaur penis was a little bit different than what was originally in the script.
Yes, I was thinking we should go larger, and David is into realism, and he's met Minotaurs before, and he said that they're obviously not as hung as I thought they were. Yeah,
and circumcised apparently.
Yeah, and apparently they're circumcised.
It's weird. More fun facts coming up with Danny McBride right after the break. You guys stay there. We're gonna talk more about Minotaur penises. I figured why not go out on Minotaur penises?
Let's do it. Let's keep them tuned in.
The feed is brought to you by BlackBerry.
Fail. You're dead. Major fail. Fail. Good. Fail, 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 fail. You lose.
Welcome back to Attack of the Show. Danny McBride is here, everybody. We are chatting Your Highness, and I have a million things to ask aside from the movie, but back to Your Highness real quick. You were involved with the writing process of this movie, to say the least, heavily. Natalie Portman was one of your first casts, correct? How is there not an insane makeout scene with Natalie Portman in your movie? Where you're with her the entire time.
I know, we
and you
should
have full
have.
script control.
Instead, I wrote myself with Franco for the whole entire movie.
You really did?
Missed opportunity.
What happened there?
Yes, yeah.
It's all right. You're amongst friends. It's okay
Yes.
to admit these things.
Okay.
With Natalie, there's a scene, especially. I don't want to spoil too much, but you really get in her face and get good and insulting. And I wonder how much of that is on the page and how much of that was repressed Natalie Portman hatred.
No repressed Portman hatred on this behalf. She was awesome.
Yeah.
She was a
She
really
was great
cool
in the film,
chick
too.
and was honestly down with all the lowbrow humor too. She
Yeah.
got a kick out of it, which is important when you work on a movie like this. You don't want to work with anyone who's a stick in the mud and who feels that they're above this low humor. You know, it's like you got to embrace it and put it out there. And she does that. And we kind of approach this like we do Eastbound and Down. We'll do about 1 or 2 takes in the script, and we kind of just throw the script away and just start improvising and just kind of see how dirty we can actually.
How disgusting, yeah. Now, what percentage would you say of that ends up in the film versus, okay, that's going to be on the DVD? Like, is there a lot of improv that ends up in the final print?
Any joke that's really good was obviously written by me, and anything that's okay, that was improv. Yeah.
Give that one to Franco.
Yeah,
let it
that was
slide in.
Franco's
Yeah.
idea, yeah.
Speaking of Eastbound and Down, one of my favorite series. You're
thank you.
working on it now. It's coming back.
We are. We started writing the new season about a month ago, so we're deep in that now. We'll be shooting this summer, and we're stoked about it. We love making that show, and so we're excited to get back into it again.
Is Kenny getting back to the hometown? Are we going to see season 1 regulars coming back?
You will see some regulars from season 1. I mean, Kenny is going to be splitting his time between Shelby and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where he's making a run for the bigs through a minor league team down there, and he's trying to balance his duties as a father. You know, he's obviously a man cut out to be a father.
Oh, clearly, yeah.
Easily,
He's been training his whole life for that role.
Of course.
Between the Eastbound and Down tale, which I imagine is interesting, and Your Highness, I mean, congratulations on the marriage, by the way. I know that's going well.
Thank
but
you.
that
Thanks
aside, you must be psyched for Comic-Con. Now you're going to get all the Ren Fair girls.
Yes, that's honestly what this was all about. You know? That's why we're here.
But when you were here last time, you were just finished up your honeymoon, right?
I looked like I had just come off of the Jersey Shore. I was nice and tan. And
you and Snooki, hand in hand?
Yep.
How are things good? Have you gotten into much trouble? You still gaming?
I haven't been gaming as much. I bought a ton of games right before Christmas and never was able to play any of them. I know, it's terrible.
That's painful.
It's
We're
really
sorry to hear
sad.
that.
But the marriage is going good, so that's a plus.
Well,
right?
My relationship with my Xbox has really deteriorated, but the woman in the life is happy, so I guess that's good.
We got to make our choices, I suppose.
Yeah. What's up next? You got 30 Minutes or Less with Aziz Ansari?
Yeah, 30 Minutes or Less, which is directed by Ruben Fleischer, who directed Zombieland, and it's a comedy with Jesse Eisenberg, Aziz Ansari, and Nick Swartzen and myself, and it's a lot of fun. We shot that last summer, and it's a crazy bank heist, bomb strapped to a pizza guy movie. You know,
Love it.
It's been a while since there's been one of those films.
exactly.
So, yeah, and then I'm a bad guy in Kung Fu Panda 2, and then
sweet.
Yeah.
And then what about your directorial debut? Don't you want to get behind the camera?
I do. So that's what I'm really looking to get into next year. So I have this company, Rough House Pictures, that I've developed with David Green and Jody Hill and myself, and I'm developing some stuff now, trying to get behind the camera next year.
Well, as long as my medicinal license is still good, I will be seeing every ounce of that footage. Good sir.
I appreciate it.
I'm a huge fan. Again, no BS. The movie is hilarious. You have to go see it. Danny McBride, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Your Highness opens in theaters this Friday, and I'm serious. It's a blast. Now let's check in with Candace.
Listen up, fellow parkour enthusiasts. The season finale of Jump City Seattle is tonight. It's East Coast versus West Coast as the undefeated Tempest free running takes on the Tribe to fight for the free running crown in this final episode. Head on over to g4tv.com/jumpcity for more info. Coming up, it's TV Tuesday with Chris Gore. Should we return to the world of Tron or not? Find out next.
They only fart like once a century, and it's really, really bad.
Coming up tomorrow on an all-new Attack of the Show. Actress Odette Annable sneaks into the studio and gives us a lowdown on pranking her co-stars on her new show, Breaking In. Then Blair Butler gets big news from Marvel's head of television, Jeff Loeb, about the new Wolverine and Iron Man anime. And Gaming PC Week continues on Gadgetron when Chris Hardwick joins us to rate the Serenity. See it tomorrow.
New movies arrive every week week. But don't buy anything until DVD Tuesday sorts them out for you. Welcome back, film expert Chris Gore.
Thank you. Thanks, Candace. Thank you.
Now, before we begin, you have a bit of news for us, right?
Yes, breaking news. I will not be lending you my Mad Men DVDs.
What? Why not?
Because they'll be streaming on Netflix in July, all 4 seasons. In fact, they made a deal to put them all on there. So Netflix streaming, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
You don't have to borrow my DVDs.
You can still give them to me, though, because that's not until July.
Streaming in July.
All
You
right,
can
what's
watch
up
them there.
first?
First up, we have Tron Legacy.
Okay, it's been almost 30 years since the original Tron film came out. Was the sequel worth the wait?
Oh, I was waiting. The last 4 Comic-Cons, it's going to be awesome. And this is one of those movies that I was so looking forward to seeing it. You had me at Tron, and I despised it. It was one of those movies that, like, I was just offended by its sort of just awesome, colossal badness. From the script kind of sucking, to the digital Jeff Bridges, to, like, every aspect of it.
Okay, now you were a huge fan of the original, right?
Yes, love the original
Is
Tron.
that why you don't like this film? Because it's just different, or it's not how you remember it, or?
No, it's just a bad script. I mean, it's like bad dialogue, bad script. You've got Jeff Bridges, who just seems completely out of place. And then also, why on the grid are they having roasted pig for dinner? Could anybody explain that? I mean, do I sound like too much of a whiny geek with these complaints? That's fine. Fine, but I really despised it because I wanted to love it. And it doesn't take advantage of the fact that the first one took advantage of the fact that we're also tech savvy now. They could have taken advantage of people's knowledge of technology and worked that into the script, made it much more clever.
Now, there are a lot of extras on the disc. Is there anything that you liked?
No.
At all?
Well, actually, one thing which was sort of a viral video about what happened to Kevin Flynn, which was kind of cool, more of that. If the movie was like that, I think it would have been more interesting, but I'm not a big fan of the lead actor they got. And I just felt that, as a whole, I was just totally disappointed.
Okay, so I'm guessing bottom line is...
Bottom line is, buy the soundtrack by Daft Punk, which is awesome, and pass on the DVD.
Okay. All right,
Sorry,
what's our
folks.
next DVD?
Next DVD is All Good Things.
Now, the guy who made this film is known for making documentaries like Capturing the Freedmans and Catfish. So does he have what it takes to make a good murder mystery? Or is it kind of in there?
I don't know. I mean, the one thing I'll say about this is Ryan Gosling is an amazing actor. This is a guy that will win an Oscar. I absolutely promise he'll win an Oscar if he can develop a sense of humor. What doesn't work about this is the story. Kirsten Dunst, who has been in all my favorite Spider-Man movies, like the one where she's in peril at the end, is my favorite one. I love that one. But in this, she's abused, murdered, disappears halfway through the film. It's really dark and depressing. And then he turns into an old tranny at the end. Ryan Gosling is dressing as a chick, and I'm serious. It's laughable. Pass, folks.
All right.
Pass.
What else do we have to check out?
We have I Love You, Philip Morris.
Okay, here's another film based on a true story, but why was this one so controversial that it almost didn't get released?
Well, in tone, it's a lot like Raising Arizona. Classic
Great
film,
movie.
classic comedy. In tone, it's a lot like that, And Jim Carrey plays this con man who gets himself out of prison. He's really clever. Except most of the movie is really about him going to Pound Town on Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
Checking into Pound Town on
Like more than
Foursquare.
Brokeback Mountain?
Oh, there's a lot of gay sex in this thing. Just a lot. To the point, Pound Town. Add it to your vocabulary.
Now, the guys who made this were the same people who wrote Bad Santa. How's their audio commentary track?
Those guys are pretty funny. I mean, they struggled to get this movie made, and I really admire what they were trying to do. And there are some things in this when you find out like how clever these cons were. It's funny and it's disheartening this didn't get a bigger release.
So bottom line?
Bottom line is rent it.
Great. We got one.
But be prepared for Pound Town.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Great, thank you.
As always. For more Gore, follow him on Twitter at @ChrisGore.
Oh, I wasn't off frame for that. Hold on, let me try that again. I was gonna pretend like I just ran in from Pound Town, but it was too. We weren't. I'm sorry, I didn't know where I was. Hey, it's time for today's home maintenance epic fail.
This pruning incident is fail-worthy and all by itself.
Oh, irony. Just roll the clip.
Well, that kind of sucks.
Well, with neighbors like that, who needs cable TV? It's sort of like it's like the opposite of Extreme Home Makeover, you know?
Fail that renovation!
Huge thank yous to Mr. Danny McBride for coming to the program today. And again, I just want to reiterate, I saw Your Highness.
So funny.
It's good. It's good. So take a little bit of Mama's medicine and go see it. Chris Gore, thank you as well for being here. Blair Butler, always a pleasure. Andy Allo with the feed, and Vinny Hill. Thanks, guys.
Stick around.